What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and today's topic is Jadon Sancho and his potential move to Liverpool, because Liverpool are still heavily interested in Jadon Sancho. That was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, the Italian journalist. And let me know, do you think Liverpool should go for Jadon Sancho if he costs around 80 to 90 million pounds? His price have come down quite considerably since last summer, because Man United was asked to pay 120 million pounds for Jadon Sancho last summer, but in the end they dragged it out too long and Jadon Sancho was not interested. And also Borussia Dortmund set the deadline last summer for the transfer to be completed, but this summer there is no deadline, and Borussia Dortmund have a gentleman's agreement with Jadon Sancho that if the big club meets the asking price of Dortmund, then Jadon Sancho is free to leave this summer. So I think Liverpool should go in and sign him, because he is a very young but absolutely amazing talent, and not in the bracket of Haaland or Mbappe in terms of price. He would be available for 80 to 90 million pounds, and you could resell him for the same amount of money that you buy him for in 5, 6, 7 years, because he's still just 21, 22 years old. So guys, if you enjoy these transfer news videos, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, turn on the bell notification, and let me know in the comments below, do you want Liverpool to sign Jadon Sancho? So this is what Fabrizio Romano said. At the moment, Liverpool are not negotiating with Dortmund. They have not opened talks with Jadon Sancho, but they have a legitimate, strong interest in Jadon Sancho. He is on the transfer list of Jurgen Klopp, but there have been no talks yet. We need to wait some weeks. It won't be so quick. We need to be patient and we need to see what happens this summer. I think a lot of these big transfers will be done after the Euros are finished, because remember, the transfer window just opened the transfer window I think hasn't been open, and Liverpool, yes, we made already a signing in the shape of Ibrahima Konate, but I think the transfer window opens on July the 1st, correct me if I'm wrong, and it runs until the end of August. So Liverpool still have almost 1 month until the transfer window opens. And Fabrizio Romano said also, if other clubs join the race, there were rumors about Liverpool, but at the moment I'm told there is nothing with Liverpool and Jadon Sancho as of yet, but that could change very, very quickly. And former Liverpool player Marcus Babbel said that Jadon Sancho could well end up at Liverpool. He is a player, he said, that has to play in the Champions League. He wants to play in the Champions League. Not many teams in Europe can pay the money for Jadon Sancho. It depends on what he wants. Liverpool would definitely come back into the Champions League spot, and next season Liverpool will challenge for the Premier League title, for the Champions League. And yes, Liverpool are too strong to miss out on the Champions League next season. They have injured players coming back next season. They are a fantastic side, a great team. And if all the players are back, Liverpool are very strong and they will challenge for titles. Jadon Sancho is not blind. He will see that. How big is the chance of Liverpool getting him if they are not in the Champions League? Not that big, but this interview was made before the season is finished. But now that Liverpool are in the Champions League, Liverpool will have the money to spend on Jadon Sancho, because remember that we are selling about 5 or 6 fringe players at least, which could generate 70, 80 million pounds in total. We are selling Xherdan Shaqiri, Divock Origi, Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, not even maybe Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and maybe others as well. Shea Ojo is also on loan at Cardiff. We could sell him as well. So these 7, 8 players could generate maybe even 100 million pounds if Liverpool are lucky. And Marcus Babbel said this. Before I said about this year that it will not happen with the Champions League because there have been too many struggles, too many players are injured, important players are not in form like the last 2 years, but the game with the Alisson goal in the 95th minute. Now I start thinking, if a club can do it, it's only Liverpool that can, because this is not a normal club. And yes, in the end, Marcus Babbel was right. Liverpool did it. And we got, of course, that Alisson goal made into Anfield history, Anfield legend, Anfield folklore. And Marcus Babbel was asked, what is the chance of Liverpool keeping all of Mane, Firmino and Salah at the club this summer? I think the chance is quite big to keep them all. The pandemic has changed a lot. if this hadn't happened, then I would say maybe they want to have a new challenge, to see a different country. Real Madrid, Barcelona, they are massive clubs, and maybe they would look for a new challenge. But with the pandemic, I'm not sure again. All clubs have financial problems. They can't pay these big salaries like 2 or 3 years ago. If you read all the stories about Barcelona, Real Madrid, they have lost so much money, and they wanted to come into the Super League because they needed it to survive, if it's true what they are saying. I'm not sure if this is the biggest target now for this kind of players. They can't say, I play for a fantastic club. If all the players are back, Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, Henderson, if they are back, then we are a very strong side, and next year we have a good chance to play for the Champions League title and to win the Premier League again. It's up to the boys now to decide what they want, and I can't believe that they will go. That's what Marcus Babbel said, and I also have a feeling that unless any of them really strongly pushes for a transfer, I think Jurgen Klopp will want to keep all of them. And I can't see anybody or any of them really pushing for a transfer. The only one I can see maybe doing that is Mo Salah, but he's said it many times that he's happy at Liverpool, and he still has a big contract for another like 3 years. So unless Liverpool wants to sell him, he's staying, and I don't think we will sell him. And also, no big club can pay 150 million pounds for Mo Salah right now, because they are not in a financial position to do that. And Marcus Babbel also weighed in on this Trent Alexander-Arnold debate that was raging on in the social media. Is he good enough to be the starting right back for England? If you are not playing at the same level as 2 seasons before, then always people are there that will criticize you. But you have to understand that he's still a young player, Trent, and what he did in the past is not normal for such a young player. For me, he was the best right back in the world. He had so many fantastic games, played at such a high level. It's normal that one day you are mentally a bit tired. If you win the Champions League and after 30 years the Premier League, the biggest problem was that you can't celebrate with your supporters because the pandemic is there. To get this in your head is not easy. Then there is the first injury, second, third injury. Many small things that went against Liverpool, VAR decisions. It's normal that if you play so many games that your performance is a bit less than the seasons before. I'm sure that if he gets a rest after the European Championship, this is a problem as well. You can't get a rest if you are nominated for the England squad. I hope he doesn't play. He's an unbelievable player, but if he gets a rest, you will see next season that he will be on fire again. And I fully believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold will be back to his best next season. And if you look at Liverpool's transfers in the last 2 years, we haven't really made a huge transfer like we did with Van Dijk, with Fabinho, and with other big players. So Liverpool can still afford Jadon Sancho because, as I said, we can amortize his transfer fee, and also we can resell him in 7 years, in 5 years, for almost the same amount. He's still just 21 years old. Even in 7 years, he will be 28 years old at the peak of his powers. And if Liverpool can get a good 5, 6 years out of Jadon Sancho at the top of his game, that transfer fee of like 80 or 90 million easily pays itself back with the amount of sponsorship deals that Liverpool can do with Jadon Sancho. He will be the next golden boy of England, of English football, and I'm sure that whoever gets him will have a lot of success. And I really don't want Manchester United to sign him. At the moment, it looks like Man United are the favorites for Jadon Sancho, but I think Liverpool are still in the mix, and if we can somehow make it happen, then we will surely do it. And also, I think Jadon Sancho's personal preference is Liverpool because he is good friends with Jordan Henderson, And before the England-Austria game, that friendly, you could see that Henderson went on the pitch at the Riverside Stadium where the game was played, and he was pictured talking to and chatting to Jadon Sancho, who has been frequently linked with Liverpool, of course. And so Henderson and Sancho were seen talking, and that has caused plenty of Liverpool fans to speculate what was said between the pair. And I'm sure that behind the scenes, Liverpool players will try to get everything to basically make Liverpool even more attractive for a player like Jadon Sancho. And the reaction to Henderson talking to Jadon Sancho on Twitter was absolutely brilliant. One Liverpool fan said on Twitter, so Henderson said, "So you have heard the rumors, Jadon, mate, about you and Liverpool. Oh yeah, Sancho says, but then Henderson interrupts. I will tell Jurgen Klopp that you are in there. The Klopp hugs are the best. Get to Anfield for one to get one. The leader, the captain, the undercover agent, Jordan Henderson. And also another Liverpool fan said they were just discussing how much houses cost in Liverpool. And also I have a very good insight on why Liverpool keeps signing players who have been at the Red Bull Salzburg. We signed Naby Keita, we signed Takumi Minamino, and now we signed Ibrahima Konate. So Liverpool know what they are getting when they are getting players who were developed at Red Bull Salzburg and also at RB Leipzig. They are, like brother clubs, if you like. Because the footballing philosophy that Leipzig and Salzburg play is very similar to Liverpool. Basically, they are footballing brothers with the same father. The Marsch, the former Salzburg and current Leipzig manager, the new manager of Leipzig, said this: Jurgen Klopp is a very intelligent, strategic recruiter. He buys players very intelligently. He's influenced by Ralf Rangnick's football. Certainly at Borussia Dortmund and at Liverpool, he has played a version of what we do, but his own version, which I really respect. Even when I talk to our scouts, I first say, can we understand which leagues in which countries play the most intense football, and then which clubs within those leagues play similarly to us? That is so that when we are looking for these young players, we can start here. Well, Jurgen starts, and he often stops with what is happening at Salzburg and Leipzig and Dortmund, because he knows that those players have already been instructed and have given the foundation in the qualities that he values in his teams. So this high pressing and this intensity in the football, that how Liverpool play, is very, very similar to the Red Bull owned teams, to Salzburg, to Leipzig. And Marsch also explained one of the beauties of playing this way with young players is that they grow quickly, because the speed of the game is so fast that they have to. It forces them to grow and get better, and the learning curve is steeper. In the Liverpool system, it is essential that the centre-back is comfortable with a high defensive line. It is not just physical qualities such as speed that are required. They must be able to identify those pressing triggers, the moment to drop and when to push up safely. At 22 years old, Konate is just at the start of his journey, but Liverpool can be confident that any transition should be smooth in this respect. He himself has described the Bundesliga as attack-minded with lots of pace and passion, and that sounds a lot like how Liverpool play. And I also forgot one more player that Liverpool are looking to sell, and that is forgotten goalkeeper Loris Karius, who has been on loan at Besiktas and Union Berlin in the past 2 years. He hasn't played a lot of games at Union Berlin, but when he played, he did pretty well. And Liverpool journalist Paul Gorst said this in a Q&A session. Loris Karius has no future at Liverpool after another loan spell, this time at Union Berlin, that's failed to work out really. And it's interesting to note that the club could be in need of a third choice keeper if Adrian moves on this summer, but it won't be Karius, however. If a buyer cannot be found, another loan will be looked at. His career is over at Anfield. And it's probably very harsh, but after his mistakes in the Champions League final, I don't think Jurgen Klopp can ever trust Loris Karius again, and I can't blame him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't trust Loris Karius either after those mistakes. And there is a big update on this Copa America controversy that is brewing in South America, because it looks like that the South American football or the Brazilian Football Federation president Rogério Caboclo, who has been blamed by many that he accepted basically the Copa America being hosted in Brazil, even though Brazil also has very high COVID numbers. So he will have a meeting with the Brazilian players, national team players, to convince them to play the Copa America. But the Brazilian national team players, especially Alisson, but also Fabinho and Firmino are in there, the three Liverpool players, they are reaching out to friends on other national teams to basically follow suit and to refuse to play in the Copa America. Already, I think 2 or 3 national teams have withdrawn from the competition, and at this stage it's an absolute nonsense that they are pushing ahead with this. They should just cancel the tournament, because there will be another Copa America in 1 or 2 years anyway. So what's the point in putting the players health and the staff's health unnecessarily at risk. And also Liverpool have released a few under 23 players, Liam Cole, Hardy, Abdi Sharif and Jack Wolves. They are all set to leave Liverpool, and Liverpool have tabled a new contract offer to wingback Yasser Larouci. I think we just see a little bit enough potential in Larouci to keep him around for 1 or 2 more years to see if he develops and maybe becomes better, and maybe he could play for Liverpool in the future, but right now he still needs to develop and grow in order to do that. And thanks for watching, guys. That's it for today's first video, but I will upload a Liverpool Career Mode episode later today as well, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.